Hello, good and wonderful people. It's Taja here, and I'm back with another banger today. So, I have been trucking for 1 year officially, and I can definitely say that my biggest regret since entering the trucking industry was actually working at Gordon Food Service. I definitely regret taking that job, and the biggest reason why I took it was because of greed. See, the thing is, before I became a truck driver, many of you know that I was a bus driver and I was only making $19 an hour. And without overtime, my base pay was $40,000 a year. And a lot of you also know that I went to college. I have a college degree in residential property management, and the entry level salary for that industry is actually $40,000 a year. So pretty much my college degree is useless, and I pretty much wanted to make the most money doing something that I actually enjoyed doing, which was driving. And that's why I got into driving trucks. Now, I do know that a lot of these mega carriers, they pay you pennies on the dollar. And, in my head, I'm just like, okay, I want to make the most money possible, given that I don't have any experience. Well, the thing about it is, a lot of these trucking companies will hire you if you have no experience. I'm talking about the food service and the beverage jobs. They will hire you and they do pay a lot, but there are a few reasons why I don't recommend it for about 90% of new CDL holders, especially, and pretty much a lot of truck drivers in general. I don't recommend this type of work. And I do recommend it for a small minority of truck drivers. And if you stick around towards the end of the video, I will share with you the truck drivers I do recommend this line of work to. But for now, we're going to get into the reasons why I don't recommend it. Now, the first reason being the pay. Now, I get that these trucking jobs, they advertise $100,000 a year. Yes, that's true. You can make a lot of money in food service, which is why it was attractive to me as a new CDL holder. You see these job postings at Cisco, they offer like a $10,000 sign-on bonus, and they offer up to $100,000 a year. And I'm sure these truck drivers, they are definitely working their butt off to make that type of money. However, my issue is, you can reach that six-figure mark at a job, let's say LTO, for example, and do significantly less work than food service, because food service, you literally make a comparable salary to an LTL worker and you do significantly more work. So I definitely feel like food service truck drivers are underpaid for the work that they do, and they're among the most hardworking and resilient truck drivers in this industry. So I definitely feel like they should be making upwards of $175,000 a year, maybe $200,000 a year. And even then, I still don't feel like that is enough, because a lot of people have this mindset where it's like, you can't pay me enough to touch some freight. But at the end of the day, people have to do this job. Now, my second reason why I don't recommend food service for new CDL holders and pretty much a lot of other truck drivers is because of the fact that you have to dig for cases. Now, I understand that at these food service distribution centers, you have these order selectors, pickers, loaders, and you have to build a pallet a certain way for it to, make sense. For example, raw chicken has to be at the bottom of the pallet because it can leak juice, and obviously that's unsanitary if it gets on the other cases. I understand that, but the issue is when you, for example, go to your first stop, and it obviously makes sense for all the cases for the first stop to be right in front of you. It makes it easier for you to load up your hand truck. However, you run into situations where you have a case that's at the back of the first pallet that you have to then downstack the pallet and organize as you downstack. Now, mind you, you're at your first stop on the route and your trailer is still fully loaded. You don't have that much room to work with. So literally, you pretty much make an even bigger mess if the trailers are not already a mess. Downstacking, organizing, if you can organize as you downstack just to get the cases that you need, that's a lot. It's very mentally and physically draining. And yes, that's another thing. Food service jobs, beverage jobs, these are very labor intensive, physically demanding jobs. And some people are just not built for that. And honestly, I feel like there's a difference between being in like gym shape and then being in route shape, because there are plenty of people that are like athletes. They were star athletes in high school. They played college football. You know, they are like gifted people, like physically, and they can't do the job. On the other side, there are people with dad bods, people who don't necessarily look like they're in the best shape, but they are capable of running those cases day in and day out. Like, their body's acclimated to the type of work. So really, in my opinion, there's really no amount of exercising, no amount of gym activities that you can do that can really prepare you for the physicality of that type of work. Now, moving on. Another reason why I don't recommend food service for new CDL holders especially is because of the fact that you deal with a lot of tight backing situations. And this is pretty much the case for any local job, which is why a lot of these local jobs outside of food service, outside of beverage, require you to have experience so you can be acclimated to those different backing situations. A lot of these local jobs are based on productivity. Like, you're incentivized if you can move quicker, essentially. And food service is no different, in my opinion, which is why I feel like a lot of these companies pay component pay, because if you're paid hourly, then I feel like you're more inclined to, take your time. You don't feel as rushed. But if you're, paid component pay, it doesn't really benefit you to take your time because you're going to make less on an hourly basis, if that makes sense. Now, in terms of the tight backing, unless you're on a chain account and you're making all overnight deliveries and you don't really have to deal with crowded parking lots, 9 times out of 10, you have to deal with crowded parking lots. It is what it is. And you got to deal with angry four-wheelers that are hungry. They want to get their food. They cut you off. It's just a lot. It's a mess. And as a new CDL holder, you just simply don't know how to back up. It's a very, very steep learning curve. And food service, yeah, you do learn how to back up quickly, but the margin of error is so small. Like, if you just make any type of mistake, if you have any type of backing incident, that can be very, very damaging for you, because these companies, they're required to put any type of like backing related incident, any type of like minor incident on your DAC report. And let's say food service doesn't work out for you. If you quit, if you leave, then other trucking companies can pull that information up and they can disqualify you from getting that job. So you really do put your CDL at risk with these food service trucking jobs if you don't know how to back. But that's just my opinion. Now, those are the main reasons why I don't really recommend food service for new CDL holders, especially. I mean, there are other reasons, like the fact that you're on extra board, so you don't really have a say-so of what time you come in. You could come in whenever, fill in for a different route, not know what you're going, etc. You wait for trailers. That can really slow you down. That can affect your morale. But I feel like those 3 reasons that I mentioned, the fact that the pay is not on par, you're digging for cases, and the tight backing situations, I feel like those are the reasons why you should avoid food service. Now, here is the small minority of truck drivers that I do recommend food service to. 1, if you have small kids. Now, definitely going over the road would be tough. And pretty much these mega carriers are the ones that are going to give you that chance. Those starter companies, I don't think you're going to make enough to even support little kids working at these companies. My goodness, like, it's ridiculous. Now, another type of person that I recommend this job to is somebody that has experience with warehouse type of work. Like, you're used to that fast-paced environment, you're used to the hard physical labor, so you're prepared for at least 50% of the job. Now, the backing and everything and the maneuvering of a commercial vehicle, that's something that you definitely have to learn in order to be 100% prepared for the job. And lastly, another type of trucker that can benefit from food service is the SAP driver. Now, I only know for certain that certain US Food and Cisco locations offer a return to duty process for SAP drivers. Now, you just have to be willing to take advantage of it. For example, I know that Tata Local Trucker, he works at US Foods in Charlotte, North Carolina. They offer opportunities for SAP drivers. There's other truck driver who is a SAP driver. I think his name is Jay Rose. He works at a US Foods in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They offer opportunities for SAP drivers. Honestly, Cisco, they'll hire anybody, honestly. Also, do y'all remember that trucker, Kevin the trucker? He worked at Cisco for 4 months and he made that viral TikTok about why he quit Cisco. If y'all don't remember, take a look at this.
Cisco broke me. I know I'm a wimp. I couldn't handle the work. Hell nah. This job sucks. I'm done. I gave my 2-week notice. I only lasted 2 days into those 2 weeks. And nope. I mean, nice. I'm going to miss not having an automatic truck, but I'm done, guys. Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna just end the video there. I want to hear from you. What's your experience in food service? Are you somebody that's willing to, accept the challenge of food service? Do you like food service? What do you dislike about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, if you're a current food service driver, let me know. How do you deal with day-to-day challenges of the job? Like, what's the secret? As always, you guys are the best audience on the internet. If you enjoy videos like this, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I'm Tasia Woods, and I'll see you next time.